What's good, everybody? It's your boy D-Nice with I2G Radio. We have our Las Vegas Raiders podcast and also Viva Las Raiders. Urge everyone to like, comment, and subscribe to our Apple Podcasts and Spotify channels. I2G Radio. That's the letter I, the number 2, the letter G, Radio. Also, can check out the podcast, the Viva Las Raiders podcast on YouTube. Word Viva Las Raiders podcast. Just search it up, it will come up. And also you can check this out on the hip hop site, Illuminati2G.com. That's the word Illuminati, the number 2, the letter G.com. All right, let's get right into it. So you can tell obviously by the thumbnail, just putting it out there just in watching the game. This is something I've kind of wanted the Raiders to kick their tires on pretty much all in the off season as well. Would the Raiders consider or, maybe go out and sign free agent, free safety Justin Simmons? Justin Simmons played for the Atlanta Falcons last year. He had a run there of like 4 or 5 years where he had at least 3 or more interceptions, multiple time Pro Bowler, multiple time All-Pro. When he decides to hang up the cleats, he'll definitely go in the Ring of Honor or whatever they call that shit in Denver. I'm sorry, I'm not a Broncos fan, but definitely with him being years in the AFC West, this guy used to give us problems game after game after game. And I believe he won a Super Bowl as well with the Broncos. But the only reason why I bring that up or even say this is because Isaiah Pola-Mao has played solid, but he's definitely more of a strong safety or what they call box safety. And with Jeremy Chin kind of playing more kind of that big nickel, he is also a safety as well, but he's more a strong safety too. Offenses have started to kind of pick on Pola-Mao a little bit, especially in the red zone. It's not quite as rangy as you would want for a free safety. So he kind of has, can at times take bad angles on tackles, but I think Justin Simmons would allow the Raiders to go with Patrick Graham when he was with the Giants. He ran a lot of 3 safety sets, and I think he could get back to doing that and bringing in a guy like Simmons, or even if it's Chris Smith that's currently on the team. But I want a grizzled vet like Justin Simmons. I'm also big on the Raiders possibly even looking into trying to sign Stephon Gilmore and putting him out there on the secondary as well, kind of to have that vet to teach Caillou Blue Kelly and Darian Porter the ropes and everything. Eric Stokes has a sprained knee, not sure if he's going to be back. He's played very well so far this year, but I kind of feel like both that safety and that corner room need that veteran presence. I think they could sign both of them for if they're not asking for an astronomical price. I think the Raiders are around possibly $9 to $10 million in salary cap. Probably can't afford both of them, but I really think Justin Simmons would kind of round out this defense on the back end and be able to help and assist with the defenses that Graham and Pete Carroll are kind of collaborating on here. I'm sure they don't want to go with a safety by committee, but that could become a furthermore reoccurring problem, and it's on tape at this point for a lot of teams. They're going to definitely tackle that side of the field that Pola-Mao is on. But he had a solid game last week against Chicago. Again, more of a box safety, but he was definitely hitting guys out there that were coming across the middle, had a couple pass breakups. Hopefully he can continue to evolve. The end game you would love to see Pola-Mao round out to be a very good to great free safety in this defense. But I think it's going to take some time. That's why I said I think a veteran would really help. All right, let's get into our sponsor here on the podcast, and it is Two Kings Marketing. Finding reliable music promotion is hard work. That's why you should rely on twokings.online for your music promotion needs. They've worked with people from the West Coast's own Hobson to New York's own Shine Poe. Their services include, but not limited to, social media management, graphic design, press write-ups, social media design, website design, publicity, artist management, major label contract negotiations, album inlay design, the whole nine. They can take care of it. Radio promotions, advertisement placements. Check them out today on twokings.online for a consultation, or you can email them at ceo@twokings.online for a one-on-one session as to what they can do for you. For those that are familiar with Illuminati2G.com, it's my partner T. He partnered with me and helped design the site. I've known him for well over 15 years. Urge everybody to check him out if you need any promotions or graphic design or anything like that. He can definitely help you out, and tell him that D-Nice sent you over there as well. All right, let's get into some other news now that had just come out, breaking news regarding Kolton Miller. Kolton Miller had got rolled up on by defensive end Tanoa, cannot pronounce that last name. He's a defensive end. He was trying to tackle Ashton Genty, rolled up on the back and landed on the back of Kolton Miller's leg. You can immediately see he was in excruciating pain. The initial report was a high ankle sprain. Well, they had a second CT, or had a scan on his leg, and they found a hairline fracture along with that high ankle sprain. So from Ryan McFadden on ESPN, and also Raiders beat writer, Las Vegas Raiders starting left tackle Kolton Miller sustained a high ankle sprain and a hairline fracture in Sunday's 25-24 loss to the Chicago Bears. Miller's injury came in the afternoon, which the offensive line put together its best performance of the season. The unit allowed just 3 pressures after giving up 51 in the first 3 games. Raiders also rushed for 240 yards, with 138 coming from Genty. Also another 65 yards from Raheem Mostert. So, moving forward, it's like, what are the Raiders going to do? Stone Forsythe is probably going to start this week against the Indianapolis Colts. I think he's going to be on a short leash. If he's not effective, or at least kind of holding his own there in the for the offensive line, I think it's Charles Grant time. Got to see what the rookie has. He's the heir apparent to Kolton Miller. You can use this time frame to really see what you have with Charles Grant. I also see a lot more 12 and 13 personnel. They should have Michael Mayer back this week, but I think Ian Thomas, Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, they're going to have to contribute and kind of chipping and helping that left tackle and also the right tackle with DJ Glaze. I hope this doesn't tip off to too many teams that this is going to become more of run formations. But I think they can still pass out of it. You can still split out Brock Bowers. You can bring in Jack Besh if you would like to as well, and kind of run him as a pseudo tight end. They've got to get Jack Besh more involved in this offense. And Chip Carroll did say after the post game that he would like to see Jack Besh get more snaps in this offense, which I think is only going to help this offense moving forward. But they can get creative. Genty has shown he doesn't need, 4 or 5 blocks to really break out and get, into the second level and the secondary of a defense. So I think they're going to try and be creative and try a few different things. I definitely think it's going to be a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets to kind of assist and help out Forsythe and Charles Grant. But this is what you have depth for. This is why you draft rookies. A lot of people now, it's low-hanging fruit, and it's easy to say, well, they shouldn't have paid Kolton Miller $66 million. This is football, folks. It's not checkers or chess. Players are going to get injured, and there's going to be freak accidents like this. Look at Tyreek Hill, dislocated knee, multiple, ligament tears. There's injuries that happen. Now you're going to say he shouldn't have got paid either, or you should have traded him or whatever like that. If was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. I hate when people do this kind of flyby, just hot takes and completely just shit on players. Kolton Miller has been a mainstay here since 2018. He's one of the original Oakland Raider that's left on the team. There's only 3 or 4 of them left anyway. He had a rough rookie year. He's battled through injuries, and he's been constant and a mainstay for the Raiders. It's an unfortunate injury. Hopefully he bounces back. This is probably going to be season ending. And also, I say that because, if the Raiders only have like two wins or 3 wins, and they've got 6 or 7 losses, it's kind of pointless to bring back Kolton Miller to try and see where you can get with the season. The season may be lost at this point. So this is kind of a crucial in, but next man up mentality. I'm sure the players would say that. I'm sure the coaches would say that. It's common sense, people. So it's, put in Stone Forsythe. If he can hang in there, so be it. If not, give the keys to Charles Grant and see what you got. And then you definitely know moving forward, you may need to have multiple picks on that offensive line for the next draft, but at least you know what you're going to do moving forward. All right, that's another pod in the books. Again, like, comment, and subscribe. I2G Radio on Spotify, I2G Radio on Apple Podcasts, Viva Las Raiders podcast on YouTube. Much love and appreciation for everyone that's been checking out the videos on the Viva Las Raiders podcast, the Ashton Genty pod that we did. It's getting a lot of views on Spotify, on Apple Music, and also on the YouTube channel, but we're trying to grow that YouTube channel out a lot more. I will be having either tomorrow or Thursday my Colts vs. Raiders pregame show. As always, I give you my reaction post-game, so that will be on Sunday right after the game, so be on the lookout for all of that. But D-Nice, I2G Radio, and Viva Las Raiders podcast signing off. Peace.